Okay, so we're gonna get started. Um, I'm not very good at editing software, so I'm gonna try to make this as smooth as possible. I'll save the VOD, and then I'll splice it, do some simple splices, and then upload it to YouTube. That way everybody has access to everything going on here. So let's get into it. I posted a preview for this tech about a year ago. I've been doing a lot of labbing, and I was planning on making a video sooner, but I had a lot of personal stuff come up. So here's what it is. So Marth, everybody who's familiar with Ultimate knows Marth is inconsistent, but I think a lot of people don't understand why. So if you're looking to land a tipper forward air, and you're like at burst range here, right? If you land and you do that, right, it's pretty easy to replicate if you're just jumping from in place. Well, I don't play Marth, so I'm going to be inconsistent at this, right? But when I'm jumping in training mode right here, I have full control over my character. So I jump, drift back, tipper, right? Or if I wanted to, I don't even have to do the drift back. I jump here, drift forward, tipper, which I'm not very good at, but you understand what I'm talking about. You jump, tipper, right there, land it, right? It's consistent. You can replicate it as many times as you want. If I played Marth, this would be an easy, just do this regularly. The reason it becomes inconsistent in bracket, and here I'm going to go frame by frame, is you're not doing this in a game. You're doing this. Do you see the difference there? So in the first clip, I'm doing a jump in place into drift in with the forward air. Whereas in a bracket setting, I'll probably be standing around here, do my run, and then jump, okay? Now, right here, after he's left the ground, I'm gonna hold my stick completely back, completely to the left, and watch what happens to Marth. He's still going forward, and he doesn't start moving backwards until here. So if I'm wanting to space an aerial, you can see even in just there, with full speed, you're fighting your momentum to drift back. Whereas with the other one, you can drift wherever you want. You have like the full, you can even jump here and then drift back to where you landed. Now, why is this important? Because not only are you moving, your character, your opponent is also moving. So if you're jumping from here and your opponent decides they're going to move, your already inconsistent spacing is going to be even more inconsistent. So what's the solution here? So basically, it's shield stopping. So you shield and then you jump, and you get your full reset momentum. And you get your consistent tippers. You can jump backwards. You can jump straight up. You can full hop. This makes a scenario where every time you jump, instead of carrying your grounded momentum into the air, you're resetting it. And you have your full freedom of motion as if you were just jumping from standing in training mode. Right there. Land another tipper. I missed the tipper because I jumped in and my backwards input didn't come out soon enough. Right there. Makes it easy. There's other applications for this as well. So when you're talking about changing your momentum like that, right? One of the main things that influences how good this tech is your character's run stop. So if I slow down the footage, right, you run and then you play this animation, Wolf stops on a dime right there. Wolf is just broken. He has a very good run stop. So normally the way this works is your character runs through, let's see. Okay, so if I stop running, in order for your momentum to reset, you need to go through 3 frames of run stop. And then you jump on the 4th. And then you get your full momentum, right? So with Wolf, it doesn't even matter because his run stop is so good that you can just backflip and the difference in momentum is negligible. However, now here's the kicker. I'm going to go to Greninja. I'm going to do this in full speed, and you can see how bad this run stop is. So I stop right here at the middle line, and he slides all the way past this 2-block area. I'm going to show you again in half speed so you can see I stop running here, and he slides all the way over there. And not only does he do that, okay, but each frame that he's sliding, he's sticking his foot out, extending his hurt box further out. So for example, right here, this is another application for this. Okay, switch back to normal speed. Spawn in a banana. Okay, so as you can see, every frame that I'm not picking up the banana and I'm sliding into it, if it's owned by Diddy Kong, is a frame that I could be tripping. I'm sliding closer to the banana with each passing frame, and if I don't jump or shield or do something else, I could potentially slip and eat a stock. So that's why Greninja players like to pick up items with tilts or with landed aerials, because it's safer, and his tilt has a really good pickup range. But here's the kicker. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay, so in this case, right, the easiest way to pick up banana is to shield stop and Z catch it. Because you're no longer entering your run stop, and you can just get out of there without committing. And there's a lot of other item stuff too, but I'll have to get into it later. But with Greninja, resetting his momentum is difficult because every passing frame, you're sliding towards this 2-block point, and it makes it more difficult to control your character. Like, look at that, that's so long. Clouds is a similar length. There's a couple other more that have pretty long run stops. So shield stopping makes this even better, where you don't have to time your 3-frame wait perfectly to reset your momentum. You can just shield stop, and then those 3 frames that you would have been moving, you're stopping immediately on a dime with shield. Funnily enough, this tech basically came to me in a dream. I was laying in bed, just kind of going over scenarios in my head. And then this tech popped into my mind. And so I immediately had to rush out of bed and run to my Switch setup and make sure it worked. I was labbing it out, trying to figure out stuff, coming up with a name for it. And while I was doing my research, I found out that this was already a known tech. PPU made a video on it back in 2015. I'm going to link that in the YouTube video. You can check that out. It's a really good video. There's a lot of applications that still apply to Ultimate, especially in the first half of the video. So I'd definitely recommend you go check that out. Okay, so with this, you can get more consistent spacing on aerials. It allows for more characters to use rising aerials to whiff punish. if your opponent uses an attack while you're shielding, the attack will just lock you in shield. So it's not like you're overly exposing yourself. Another thing to keep in mind is if you do this tech frame perfect, the shield won't show up visually. And so the only indicator that you've done it right is the shield sound indicator. So you'll hear shield come up, and then you'll get your momentum change. And that'll be your indicator that you did the tech frame perfect. So there was like a frame or two of shield coming up. And there I had no shield at all, and I had full control over my momentum. It also gives more freedom. Item play, like I showed with Greninja, with the banana. There's another application with Young Link. This is just an example, but one thing you can do is use it to drop bomb in place. I'm not familiar with this character, so you could like, oh my goodness, okay, I'll figure it out. One thing you can do is use shield stop to place an item in front of you while you retreat. And you can use a special to cover yourself right there, so the bomb's in the way, the boomerang's going over. You can even, if you have an item dropped, you can pick it up and throw it instantly like that without risking getting hit by it. One thing to know with the items, though, is that if you shield gyro, it'll lock you in shield and delete the gyro. You can't do this tech to pick up gyro. That doesn't work. A lot of characters whose weaknesses are committal air drift, so think of Chrom and Roy, their whiff punish range gets effectively doubled, because if you, while you're running, you do a full hop aerial backwards, you see the distance it goes. And even if you like do a little weight, it's still pretty weak, but if you shield stop, you can do a full momentum back air, which is pretty large. Also, as Roy, you can space your aerials better. You could shield stop, drift back. Not that a Roy player would understand what spacing is, but it still helps a lot. Another interesting set of applications to this comes from Sabrix, so shout outs to him. So the area in which your run carries your momentum during your initial dash is the same as Sabrix delay dash grab tech. So if you do that and then jump, you still carry momentum forward. Just like that. And so if you want to avoid this, you just learn your character specific timing. Each character has a different shield dash timing. So you just learn your character's specific shield stop animation and then time your jump accordingly. Another application of Sabrix tech is the dash back turnaround. So basically what it is you do a dash and then do a quarter circle and it'll buffer a turnaround. But shielding cancels the turnaround animation. So you can do this and get a full momentum turnaround like that. I'm missing it a little bit. I haven't done a ton of practice on this. But shielding cancels that turnaround animation, and you can jump out of shield immediately. Like that. There are also characters like Captain Falcon and Mewtwo where they have really bad dashback animations. To the point, Mewtwo can't really whiff punish, and Falcon's dash dance, you almost never want to be dash dancing over here like a fox would be, because his dashback is so bad that you're effectively putting yourself into your opponent's range, and you can't really retreat. So a lot of times Falcon chooses to burst into his opponent or start combos other ways. Shield stopping kind of negates this because you can, on a dime, without having to stop, you can just retreat on a dime. And I think Mewtwo is really effective for him as well, because when you do this, your tail stays behind you. You're not putting your tail as you're running away. So I think it's really good for characters who don't want to be dashing back and want to be facing their opponent. You can set up some pretty interesting RTCs on the platform. With Fox, just shield right here under the platform, and then if the Diddy rolls in, you can up smash or back air. If they roll out, you can also nair out a shield and get near up smash on the platform. Right here. That can be true. This is character specific, so there's some other flowcharts you can do with other characters. Some characters have really good aerials that cover a lot of options, so just play around with that, see what you can get. I think Pikachu could potentially get a lot out of this tech. So Pikachu likes to whiff punish with rising back air. If you're dashing away from an opponent doing an attack and you want to back air, see you're carrying your momentum so you don't go very far, and that can also affect your combo potential. But if you use shield stop, you get your full momentum going backwards. So here, if I aerial right here in the center, I land around there. Right, but if I shield stop, I go there. That's a pretty considerable distance if you're talking about chaining back airs together. I'm not very good at it, but also it is on top of this. You can do some, if you time it correctly. I'm not familiar enough with Pika's dash shield, so it might take a few tries. But you can shield dash into Thunder. Like that. So there's maybe potential for some Thunder tech there, but I'm not a Pikachu player, so this is just the stuff I've been able to find. Okay, now there are some specifics when it comes to doing this tech. Your stick needs to be fully reset to neutral in order to get your momentum reset. So if you're trying to drift back, I'll slow it down here. You need to shield, set your stick to neutral. So shield, set your stick to neutral at the same time, and then you backflip. You want to get a full momentum nair out of shield. That was bear. You shield, set your stick to neutral, nair, and then drift back. There's a video, I don't remember, I think it was my Smash Corner, talks about full momentum nair out of shield. So check that out. Doing this out of shield is pretty useful for a lot of characters. In order to reverse your momentum with up air, like this, you need to only flick your C-stick for a single frame. In quarter speed, it will always work because C stick takes control of your direction input for a total of 3 frames. And my suspicion is that the speed settings in training mode, they still poll at 60 frames per second, but it plays 4 frames, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I flick my C stick, because it only occupies 3 of the 4 frames, so it pulls those 3 frames of input, but because on the 4th one there's no input, it will never change your momentum. In my labbing, from what I've done, the easiest way to actually do the tech, I'll do half speed here, is to do a light field press and immediately jump. Because, at least on GameCube, that's what I use. There's no light presses in Ultimate, and so a light shield press will count as the same as a heavy press, but it counts sooner. So, in my experience, doing a light shield press into a jump has been the most consistent way. But do what feels best for you, because this is obviously character and player dependent. Jump will also cancel shield during any point of it. So you can even during the shield drop, it'll cancel. So normally, oh, I don't have a shield button. That's so funny. Normally you have your 12 frame shield drop before you can act, like that. And jump will cancel your shield drop, so you can act early. So any point during shield or shield drop, you can jump. So this tech, you can even like, oh shoot, I'm running in quarter speed, so I can't really, okay. You can even just tap shield and it'll give you the same effect. I mean, jumping instantly is probably better, but this allows for some like reaction in some spots where you want to shield to stop yourself and then jump. Now the way misinputs work for this. So if you roll, that means that you tried to move your stick before you jumped. So if you don't jump soon enough, you will get a roll. If you do a neutral air dodge or a directional air dodge, that means you jump before you put click the shield button, and you need to shield sooner. And then if you don't get the shield flicker, there's no sound, and you don't get the change in momentum, that means you didn't push the shield or you jumped before the shield and did another action. So like if you're doing an aerial, for example, right, and you shield after the jump, then you'll just get the aerial. There'll be no shield flicker because you never shielded, and then the aerial will come out. So those are just the different kinds of inputs misinputs you can have. But if you just tap shield, the light shield, and jump at the same time, you can get it pretty consistently just by feeling it out. As Cloud, you can also get like a full hop down air in the reverse direction, like that. So you can run out here. So I think that's pretty good. So if your character has a projectile that they can charge while be reversing, this can be kind of good too. So with the momentum shift, you will get more from slingshotting like this. You get more from that, but you can still get some funky stuff with, like, let's say it's Lucario, you're trying to whiff punish with Aura Sphere charge, and so you can shield stop, jump back, and then be reverse. So you're doing a full retreat, and then you can be reverse on reaction, and get the aura sphere charge. Like that. And you'll just get the full momentum. Not full momentum like you would on a slingshot, but it's still better than doing dash and then doing the slingshot because you're missing out on that whole dash animation. Right there. That's the dash in slingshot B reverse. And this is shield stop B reverse. So you don't get as much momentum, but you're able to move so much sooner and more easily choose where you're going that I think it can be really useful. So yeah, I think that's just about everything that I have so far on the tech. There's some more specifics on some of the stuff that I've labbed that I have saved on a Google Doc. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter or Discord or something. Hopefully you can apply this to your gameplay. I think it's really useful. I think I've seen a lot of improvement in my play and my movement as I've incorporated it. And hopefully you will as well. If you like the tech, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to be trying to go live more often and try to pump out more content. My next video is going to be on counterpicking in Ultimate. I think it's a topic that's pretty overlooked and misunderstood. But yeah, take care.